helping you grow towards a healthier and happier you. Hi everybody! So today I'm going to give you 10 time-saving tips for eating a vegan diet. So basically these 10 tips are just going to save you time for making meals, eating meals, etc. All having to do with eating a vegan diet. Although if you don't eat a vegan diet, you can still use these tips anyway. Works for everyone. So let's get started. For one, people don't usually always think of this, but overnight oats. A lot of times what I used to always do is just make my oatmeal in a pot in the morning, and you have to boil the water and then put the oatmeal in, etc., etc. But if you can put water and oatmeal together in a little mason jar or anything in the fridge, you can even add some berries, some bananas, really whatever you want, some seeds, and you put it in the fridge overnight and you sleep on it. The next morning you wake up and you have a ready to go oatmeal. It is cold, but you can always add some hot water or anything, whatever you'd like. Usually I do that and just add some berries on top, a little bit more of almond milk, and ready to go. It's even portable and on the go, super easy. Number 2. So smoothies are just one of the easiest things to make, whether you're a vegan or not. A way to make a smoothie even easier though is to make a smoothie bag. So basically what you do is every once in a while when you get a bunch of frozen fruits, you can get little Ziploc baggies, just like sandwich bags, and just fill in a bag whatever you want in a smoothie. So say like a handful of spinach, maybe some fruit, a banana. You cut it all up however you would put it into the blender. You get it all ready and just put it in the bag instead. And then you put that little bag in the freezer, and then whenever you want it in the morning, instead of having to chop all the ingredients, get it all ready, all you should do is just take the bag out of the freezer, dump it in the blender, blend it, and you're ready to go, just like that. Number 3. So my third tip is just frozen bananas. It sounds pretty simple, right? But frozen bananas can be used in so many ways. Number 1, simple, just eating them. If you cut them up before you put them in the freezer, which, by the way, make sure you peel them and you usually chop them and put them in a bag before you freeze them, because otherwise it's not so good. But if you do all that, you put them in a little bag, you can just eat them as a little snack of the day, frozen, tastes pretty good. Also, banana ice cream, super easy to make. All you need is frozen bananas in the freezer, so love it. Smoothies are so good to add frozen bananas into, it just makes it so much creamier. Really anything, like frozen bananas just are amazing, and it just makes your life 10 times easier, so definitely recommend. Tip number 4. So my fourth tip is if you are running out of time but you really want to make some rice, kind of have that consistency in a meal, instead of rice can take 40 minutes, 15 minutes to cook, which is great, but it's not a time saver. It's pretty bad. So if you want to have that same kind of consistency, you can make cauliflower rice. Basically all you have to do is just get a head of cauliflower, or however much you want to make, and wash it, get it all ready, chop it, so you just have the heads of the cauliflower, throw it in a food processor and just pulse it until it becomes into tiny little chunks, like rice is basically, in little tiny pieces, and then it's ready to go. You could heat it if you want after you chop it and pulse it in the the food processor, but you don't even need to. You can just serve it ready to go. Especially if you're raw, that's a great food option because you can't eat rice, so cauliflower rice is a great alternative. 5th time-saving tip has to do with frozen fruit and veggies. So I know it's always best to eat organic and fresh and natural food, but sometimes we can't always do that. So the next best thing is frozen fruit and veggies. Especially for veggies, for dinner meals, you can get bags at the grocery store of pre-made dinners kind of. So basically I'd have a mix of carrots and peas and corn and whatever else, and you can just throw it in a little bowl with some water, microwave it, and it's ready to go in a few minutes. Super easy, especially if you're want to just get dinner on the table, let's go right now. Best thing. Same thing with frozen fruit. If you want to make a smoothie, throw some frozen fruit in there and you are good to go. Number 6. Use the microwave. And there are so many ways you can cook vegan stuff. For instance, potatoes. You can cook those in the oven and they take an hour. Or you can just make them in the microwave, and all you have to do is just put it 4 minutes on one side, flip it over, 4 minutes on the other side, and it's all set. But also microwave is good for things like oatmeal. It doesn't have to be certain packets or anything. You can just use the regular old oatmeal, just plain, straight up, put it in a bowl, put however much water it says in the package in there, throw it in the microwave a few minutes, and that's pretty great too. Same thing with rice. There's like bags of rice, you can like minute rice kind of thing you can put in the microwave, and like that's pretty easy and simple, so love it. Tip number 7. So whenever you're cutting watermelon, can't talk today. When you're cutting watermelon, it can be kind of hard to like, if you're just eating it if you're just like cutting watermelon in half and then just eating half of it, it's hard to like scoop it and it gets everywhere. It's kind of annoying. But tip is you can like take the watermelon and then like cut it like vertically and horizontally, you know, the 2 different ways, or like right and left and up and down or whatever. And then you can just, instead, you can still eat it out of the watermelon, but that way it's already cut, so it just comes out in little cubes. So if you're just gonna eat it straight up, like that's so much easier. Also, it just makes it easier to like, not much of a hassle and like time hassle and all that kind of stuff. And same thing, you can do the same exact kind of cutting technique if you're just like using or like spooning out watermelon instead of having to cut off the entire like skin of it. It takes a while, and this way you can just cut it in that sort of pattern and take like an ice cream scoop and just scoop it out. It takes no time at all, it's perfect. Number 8, always pack snacks. And now this obviously requires a little bit of preparation. You have to be like forward thinking in order to pack the snacks originally, but it's way easier to just be able to grab a little pack of, you know, blueberries or whatever and just go, instead of having to like figure out what you're gonna have as a snack and you're like, I don't know. If you're just prepared and you can have like, say, like a little bag of carrots here and blueberries here and a granola bar there, and just put them in different places, like put them in your backpack or your work bag or your car, wherever you can or wherever you need a snack. Just be prepared, and that way it's time saving, because if you're hungry you can just take a bag and you're all set. Tip number 9. So tip number 9 is using mono meals. Now this is more typically like in the raw food kind of category of vegan eating, but I definitely like still, you know, it's still a great way, especially for time management and trying to minimize the amount of time you're using to cook. So a mono meal is basically just eating one food for a meal. So say you could have like a mono meal of bananas, or a mono meal of peaches, or a mono meal of broccoli, whatever it is. Honestly, whatever fruit or veggie. It should only be fruit or vegetables, by the way. But whatever fruit or veggie you want, you can just make a mono meal. So a lot of times I do like things that I can eat a lot of. So apples, maybe I'll do a mono meal of every now and again. Peaches, oranges sometimes. But it just makes it easier because like you know exactly what you're having. So you get into like a routine of cutting it, so you can just cut it up, be done. You know, instead of having to figure out like making a recipe or any of that, like you don't have to worry about it. Personally, I don't do mono meals a ton because like it's kind of bland sometimes, eating like 5 peaches or whatever, but I mean it's great for time hassle, so it works really nicely. And tip number 10. So my last tip is to repeat meals, and I do this all the time, but basically like I get in patterns of like eating basically. So say for like dinner one night I'll have rice and potatoes, be like, oh, that was really good, and then for the next like week I'll typically have rice and potatoes. Not saying that like you have to do this, but just for time saving, it's way easier to like already know what you're gonna make for the next week. And also if it's all the same, then as long you just have to buy 2 things or 3 things or the ingredients for that one meal, and then for the entire week, and then you're done. And you also get a pattern of cooking it. So like the first night you kind of figure out how to cook it, and then like it'll be faster every other night because you already know how to make it and prepare it, and then it'll be all set. So those are my 10 time-saving tips as a vegan. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you found this helpful. If you did, like this video and leave a comment below, and subscribe to my channel for more videos. See you guys next time.